everybody. We are all putting our words into the world every day. And yes, we want a reputation, maybe even money and fame. Too often, it feels like we are shouting into the void, but it does not have to be like that. Today, Allison Lane and I are going to be looking at your social posts, pitches, and queries that got ghosted and tell you exactly how to fix them. Because chances are, whatever is wrong in your post is also something that is wrong that we can all use to improve our own writing. Before I introduce our fabulous guest, we have a terrific question of the week from Marisa, who said about newsletters, I think you said it's better not to segment our newsletter subscribers into different groups. Could you remind us why that is? I'm using Flowdesk and working on that now. At the moment, I have everyone in a giant Google spreadsheet with each person categorized by a note about how I know them through mental health work, writing, family, etc. What are the pros and cons to one group versus segments? What do you prefer? Well, I do actually segment. I'm not sure how it came across that we said don't segment, but I absolutely do segment. It's really helpful for me to have different things that people opt in for. I'm doing more and more where I am building the waiting list in advance before I actually build the program that I want to offer, so that I'm making sure people are actually interested in it. The main thing to think about is when you segment, it doesn't mean that you're going to send out 50 newsletters on different topics. It means that you're going to have some people who are the people who really want to join you for your events list only. Like, I was really surprised at how many people just want the monthly events list. Some people want the newsletter that I send out quarterly that has a story in it. But the purpose of the segments is that I can go, okay, I just opened registration for the retreat in Tuscany. Here are the 56 people who said they were exceptionally interested. I will let them know first. And so that's where segmentation can be really useful for you. Allison, even before I do your fabulous intro, do you have a comment for us on segmentation? Because I bet you know everything there is to know about newsletter segmenting.
Oh, yeah, everything. That's right. Well, I would say that I think your question came from, that sounds like a lot of work. Segmenting your list sounds like a shit ton of work, and we want everything to be easier and efficient. So welcome everyone onto your list, and then keep track of how they choose to interact with you. And they will let you know things that they love or questions that they ask. And you, in your newsletter or your email, can ask for that kind of feedback, and then keep track of what people care about, or funny stories they tell, because nobody really wants to sign up for a newsletter. What they want is your genius, whatever that is. They want Allison's genius, her editorial eye. Nobody wants more snail mail. They want more of you. And however they would like to receive that, your list or your segmentation is a reflection of what they want.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I find too that especially with working in Flowdesk, it's actually pretty easy to get people to segment themselves. Mm-hmm. And it's actually pretty easy to sort all that out through what they call a workflow. There is some great tutorials in Flowdesk, and I'm sure that MailChimp has something similar if you're using MailChimp. Morgan asks in the chat too, I want to start a newsletter, but I have no idea how to ask if anyone wants to be on it. It sounds presumptuous. Well, one of the biggest things to do is to offer a free thing. Sign up for my newsletter. You're going to get this awesome thing. And at the end of this episode, we're actually going to tell you a cool gift that Allison, my guest, is going to be offering to you. And she is going to tell to you a little bit about that near the end of the episode. So let me go ahead and introduce. Our guest today helps people write their most compelling stories, build their platforms, and garner real buzz. She's devoted to advocates, experts, and entrepreneurs who have a book that needs to be born and a message that the world needs. After 25 years in PR, communication, and marketing for beloved brands, today she ensures that each author's message connects with the people who needed it most and that their path to publishing is clear and quick. You can find out more about her work at AllisonLaneLiterary.com. We will post that link for you. Welcome, Allison Lane. So glad to have you here.
I'm jazzed to be here.
Super. So Allison, before we dive into our submitted posts, pitches, and queries, will you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, I help authors and thought leaders increase their influence and boost their credibility, because all of you are badasses and none of you believe it. And if you need to be told that, you can DM me and I will make a loom for you and explain to you how big your voice should be and how you're leaving that opportunity on the table for someone else. For sure. So you can DM me. I'm at Allison Lane Lit everywhere. And I mean, even Allison K, which is funny side note, my middle name starts with a K as well. So crazy. But you know, for me, I work mostly with nonfiction authors who some are business owners or podcasters or really thought leaders. They never have a good sense of who their competitors are. They are always thinking too small. So I'm here to say, cut it out, and to help everyone up their ante.
I love that. And I love that too, because our competitors are also the people whose work we can be inspired by. We can look at how are they reaching out to find their readers? What kind of press are they appearing in? You know, how can we take that behavior and model our own behavior in it? What do you see as like the big common mistakes that you see authors doing as they're trying to get themselves into the world?
One of the big mistakes is they don't start marketing themselves. They think that the marketing has a starting date. Like when should I start marketing my book? Your book is a product.
You should start marketing your book.
Yes. Every actor and actress out there is marketing themselves, and then they're in a film, and then you see them do interviews about the film. You can love them and not see that movie. So your audience needs to have an option to engage with you all the time, all year long, whether they spend $22 on the book or not, whatevs. That might be one way to engage with you. Maybe you're also speaking somewhere, or they can see you at a conference or attend a lecture or a program or meet Allison in Tuscany. They don't have to buy 7 drafts. They can meet her at a winery.
And you don't have to be, quote unquote, a big deal before people want to start interacting with you. I don't know how many of you were at the episode where we had Tia Levings and Megan Aronson, who were talking about TikTok and using their unique platforms. Both of them were interacting with readers about the subject of their books and themselves as people a long time before they got their book deals. And now that they got the book deal, they have this whole community full of people to celebrate with and to eventually sell the book to. Allison, are you ready to dive into our first query, in this case, that flopped?
I for sure am. Let's let it rip.
Fantastic. So we got this wonderful query from Victoria, who says, I queried this novel about 5 years ago and had very little interest, so I put it away. I had an aha moment this year and figured out what was wrong with the book and went to work rewriting, workshopping, etc. I had to rewrite the query as well. Now, I think I've rewritten it 998 times, so I'd be happy to work on version 999 based on your advice. So I'm going to read you the opening paragraph paragraph here of Victoria's query, and then we're going to have Allison show the edit that she's made as far as a different query and give us some insight there. So what Victoria originally started with: after seeing in your manuscript wish list that you seek book club fiction with complicated families, remarkable friendships, and explorations of belonging, I believe my 92,000 word novel, The Protective Instinct, may be a good fit both in subject and in tone. Set in the year 2000, The Protective Instinct scrutinizes the origins of evangelical censorship and the effects of trauma on family and community dynamics. Employing multiple points of view to address homophobia, adult to teen connections, and motherhood, The Protective Instinct will appeal to fans of Celia Lasky's Under the Rainbow, as well as Mila Goldberg's Feast Your Eyes. Content warning: topics include sexual assault and gun violence. And Allison, I'm going to let you launch in just a second, but I'm going to say this with love in my heart, Victoria. Don't start with the issues or the themes. Start with a specific character and her stakes or the choice she faces, because right now it sounds like we are going to watch an after-school special. Ooh, we're going to talk about how homophobia is bad. And most of your readers kind of already know that theme. Allison, how would you start this query?
Well, hi, Victoria. I'm going to pull, I have two screens, so many screens. So I'm going to pull this over so I can look at it and not look like I'm looking away. Okay. So Victoria, I think that you are trying to sell us on the lesson rather than the experience of the action of the novel. And a lot of your story is hidden in you wrapping up this lesson or the importance of the allegory. And we don't need that yet. That's for when your book gets reviewed by multiple people who are in this group. What you can do is use every sentence, every phrase to position what your book delivers so that you don't waste valuable character space saying, hey, I'm querying you because I saw your name on a website and saw that you like books like this. And so a couple of things. The standard query is 3 paragraphs with an intro and a dismount. Okay.
And so, Allison, do you recommend a particular word length? I usually tell people it needs to be 350 words or fewer, but there's sometimes some extra room on that for somebody who has a ton of expert credentials or a lot of great publications, or, they want to tie it in. You're making the no way face though. So tell me why, even if we have great extra information, why should it be shorter?
Well, agents are skimming. Just like if I'm like going through resumes and I'm hiring people, I don't look at their names or the, like the professional certifications. I'm looking like, what have you done lately? Can I skim this thing? So what too long is just too long. I don't care how many professional credentials you have, and the older you get and the more you've done, the more you have. And I'm sure that could fill pages and pages, but just the good stuff, just the stuff that like the most recent stuff. So always less than 350 words. And I swear to, Beyonce, that if you use this format that Allison knows well, and I share a lot. It's a format that everyone I work with gets agent inquiries on their first round of querying. And so, have at. So here's the skinny. The thing went away again. So did it? Okay.
How about I read the suggested
go ahead.
that you've got? Okay. And also I want to say too, that Allison is mentioning here, captivating intro. There's going to be a list of 14 introductions for your captivating query. That's going to be one of Allison's free gifts to you at the end. You'll be able to click through on a link. We'll also give it to you in the follow-up email so that you can sign up for her list and get this fabulous resource. Allison suggests opening with, my 92,000 word multiple point of view literary fiction, The Protective Instinct, is about complicated families, the origins of evangelical censorship, and explorations of belonging. It offers the adult to teen connections in Celia Lasky's Under the Rainbow, as well as addresses the effects of trauma on family and community dynamics, as in Mila Goldberg's Feast Your Eyes. Content warning: sexual assault, gun violence.
And one thing too about these comps that you're using, it's fine to use comps in the query that are not both recent or salesy comps, but the Under the Rainbow is actually is not ranked even mediocrely on Amazon. So I would look for something else. And so there are comments for you along in the captions.
Now, there's a chunk here of storyline about a public high school teacher and a conservative. Margaret advocates education and acceptance of life's messiness. Constance demands the community adopt her personal moral code. While Constance teaches Sunday school in Margaret's classroom, she rummages through Margaret's desk, finding a student's persuasive essay on masturbation. She uses this to justify removing and destroying all the books Margaret purchased for her classroom library. She also reads private student journals, including her own daughter's. So Allison has suggested a different phrasing on this that starts more character first. After Constance snoops in Margaret's Sunday school classroom and finds a student's essay on masturbation, she accuses Margaret of assigning immoral literature and of promoting homosexuality on campus and has the offending books destroyed. And I would also argue that that sentence right there covers just about every theme that you have listed in this top paragraph. And so it's clear, Victoria, from the story that this is going to talk about evangelical censorship and the effects of trauma on family and community. So you don't necessarily have to say, these are going to be the themes of my book. You can show them to us instead. When Constance turns to a trusted parishioner for support in her campaign, his tactics put her own daughter in mortal danger. Now Margaret has to take the lead on reconnecting with Constance over their shared childhood experience with a predator in order to save her daughter. Allison, what do you want to add in here? Or what comments do you have about making this query a more compelling query?
I think that Victoria's intimacy with these characters led her to reveal their struggles and interpret them in the query, but that is not for the actual query. In the query, we want to say what would show up on the screen if this was a movie. So we want to see this happens, like, an explosion happens. Tell us what's happening, and it's okay to hint, but we don't need backstory. Especially if that gets in the way of us like launching into, well, what is happening here? And so interpreting why it's happening, we don't need it. And yeah, it actually comes across. I used everything that you included.
And Mubina asks in the chat, queries require you to reveal the ending, right? Wrong, which I say with love in my heart. Queries, you want to hook the agent to read those first pages. It's your synopsis where you reveal how the book ends, because the purpose of the query is to hook them and get them to read. The purpose of the synopsis is to show you can construct a story that hangs together. Allison, I really love Victoria's credits here. I think they actually show that she's a literary writer, and I really like the way that you've rephrased her credits to make them a little bit more like best credits first in a way. I am a Pushcart Prize nominated writer with fiction and nonfiction published in literary journals and anthologies, including in Best Short Stories from the Saturday Evening Post Great American Fiction Contest. She talks about a collection of her short fiction, her chapbook, that she used to be the managing editor of a literary journal, and she shows her connection to teenagers. She established a yearly teen issue, and she used to be a high school teacher and librarian. And so those are things that let us know, hey, she's going to write these teens pretty well. Allison, what else do you want to add on this?
I think that I really like this, she showed that she's a pro, right? So we have a paragraph on premise, a paragraph on plot, and a pro paragraph. But Victoria, you buried the lead Pushcart Prize nominated writer. Are you freaking kidding me? Up front, girl. Like, I would be wearing that like a crown. So start with the strongest thing. And then, yeah, you have a collection published. What's its name? Don't hold back. And then this dismount, get to the point. If they're already saying, yeah, what do they need to know next? My complete proposal and 92,000 word manuscript are available upon request. You want them to know, like, you're ready. If they say request, you're like, great, here you go. And so you don't need to say 92,000 word twice. You could just say my complete manuscript and proposal, and the synopsis goes in the proposal. And
so this one's a novel. I generally say that you only need a proposal for a memoir or nonfiction. Have you had people sell novels with proposals?
I think that the elements of the proposal are needed almost all the time. And the synopsis, the overview is reads like back cover copy or the Amazon description, and it helps the agent sell into the publisher. You'll need comps because sales comps are sales comps. And so you might as well do that work because it's not the agent's job. The how you're going to market, that's less important for, fiction than nonfiction, but your bio needs to be riveting. And
I want to say, though, that from my experience, I've experienced memoirists needing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And this kind of ties into Sharon's question in the chat. Do literary agents expect proposals for memoir? Yeah, for memoir, you're definitely going to need a proposal at some point. But from what I'm hearing, at least in the United States, is that for a novel, they want your query and they'll specify if they want your synopsis and how many pages they want. And if you've got great marketing credentials, slide them into the query. But I don't think you actually need that up front when you're querying fiction.
Well, Query Manager, what an agent will ask for isn't send me your proposal. They'll say, fill in my submission form, or they won't even, before they even get a chance to request, the submission form will include a lot of the elements of a proposal. So you want to just go check out one of the agents and they'll say, who is this for? What titles is this? What other books would sit on this shelf? And that comes from proposal elements. They might not ask for it specifically, but you're going to end up needing some of those elements.
It's useful to make that for yourself as a marketing document in general anyway.
Yeah.
So I know that Allison has put in a really nice thing here, which is, I look forward to hearing from you. It's kind of a call to action. What I would typically say, and you're going to have to decide for yourself, Victoria, which one of us you want to go with on this. Yeah. I would say that right now you have 3 closings. You have, thank you for your consideration. You have, I look forward to hearing from you, and you have sincerely. And I'm going to say you only need 1 closing, because otherwise it's just wasted words. And I'd go with, I look forward to hearing from you, if you want that to be a call to action, or thank you for your time and consideration is also kind of standard. Allison, fight me on this.
Agreed. I did this in less than a half an hour. So I was typing as fast as I could.
You did a fantastic job and I love it. And now Victoria has several different ones she can choose from.
Yeah.
So thank you, Victoria, for being so awesomely brave and amazing and sending this to us. You're fabulous. We will send you that document so that you will have those notes handy. And Victoria, I see your happy hands. So thank you for being brave and thank you for volunteering. I am going to do another screen share, and we are going to head for Eileen's tweet. So Eileen said, here's a tweet I just tweeted, but expect will not be seen or heard. Twitter has become my favorite alternate universe, and I'm afraid it's about to implode. Me too. What might have made this tweet send people to my sad little Facebook author page? And Eileen's tweet is, what if #writing community, we tune out the noise, avoid the ugly, focus on writing and supporting writers. But just in case Twitter crashes and burns, help me find you. Share a link. Here are mine. Hope to see you there. Allison, what's wrong with this tweet?
Well, hi, Eileen. I love the sentiment of this tweet. The sentiment is, hey, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's swap deets so we can stay in touch. And so what I think you're doing is muddying what you really want. And you're putting, it's almost 3 lines of text before you're actually asking for an action. So in social or in any kind of communication, you have to know, are you trying to, what's the action? Do you want someone to know something, believe something, or do something? And you want somebody to do something. So ixnay all the stuff about avoid the ugly and tune out the noise. Those are negatives. People do not seek the lack of negatives. They seek a positive. So give that to them, be faster about it. I wrote a draft, or actually I think I wrote several for
you
Allison.
Wrote 2 drafts. Would you like me to read one of them?
Sure.
Awesome. So here's what Allison suggests. Instead, tweet. Help me find you in case Twitter crashes and burns. Connect on IG here, where I welcome everyone who's focused on writing and supporting writers. XO #amwriting, and throw your Insta link in there. Or option 2, writers, I love our connections and want to keep them even if this platform disintegrates. I'm moving my HQ over to IG. Please connect over there or drop your details below and I'll find you. #writing community. I love that these ask for something specific. So rather than starting with this rhetorical question about what if we did this grand philosophical thing, it's more like, help me find you. Here's how I can help you find me. Let us continue to connect. I also want to point out too, Twitter is really weird right now. Most people aren't actually leaving. They're just waiting and they're less engaged. The other thing is, it's not you, because in general, an amazing response rate on Twitter is 0.01% of your followers. I have 17,000 followers, and I am thrilled if I get 50 likes or 10 comments on a tweet. Every now and then, something gets a little more traction than that, but it is very rare to get big responses on a tweet. We only see big responses because that's what the algorithm feeds us. So it's really easy to believe that everybody's getting massive likes and massive comments, and that's not 99% of what's happening on Twitter. Allison, you want to add on to that?
Agreed. That's all I can say. Agreed. Oh, you know what, Eileen, people really do like images. So, like include a picture of you, like, clapping, or like over here. Don't use a GIF or a GIF or whatever those are. Like, you're a real person, so be a real person, but add an image.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Eileen, nice work. Really appreciate that. We had a couple of comments in the chat about, I can't do Twitter. Am I making a mistake? Heavily Instagram and Facebook. I deactivated my Twitter account and my Facebook. Am I shooting myself in the foot platform wise? I have to think of my mental health. Generally, Pick the place where you enjoy spending time and spend time there. And maybe that place is Twitter. For me, it is. Maybe that place is Instagram, or maybe that place is your church book club and recruiting new members to talk about writing. Maybe that place is a discussion forum on a website that deals with the topic in your memoir. Allison, what other things do you see as like successful platforms that are not, I have to zap my eyeballs on social media all the time?
Book clubs, associations, LinkedIn. I know it's a social, but people, they self-segregate. Your audiences are usually together and they are usually looking for you. So they might not be alone. They might also be listening to or tapping into someone you think of as your competitor, but how the mall has 35 stores and they all sell jeans. You gotta go where the people are. And so go there, wherever that is, associations, Reddit rooms, support groups. The people are really looking for your message, what you have to offer, your promise, your story. Figure it out. Find out, ask them, where do you go? What groups are you in? Because they'll tell you. They'll say, meet me over here. Yeah,
absolutely. I love that. Okay, we're going to switch gears again. This is Lynn, who has a contest. And Lynn says, I'm not getting a response to any of my posts for Writer Advice's Scintillating Starts contest. I vary them and I respond to others on any page where I post them. Here's a sample from Facebook. How does your novel, creative nonfiction, or memoir start? Will it capture an agent's attention? Why or why not? I'd like to give you my objective opinion on the last two questions. All you need to do is submit the first 1,250 words of your manuscript to Writer Advice's Scintillating Starts contest. Details, fee, and cash prizes, as well as hints for success, are under latest current contest at writeradvice.com. So I want to say two things right off the bat. My gosh, that's a long call. That is so long. I mean, you guys know me. I'm a classically trained actor and I couldn't get that sucker out on one breath. Generally, whatever you are advertising, it should come out on one breath. I also want to point out, you've got a thing going on, Lynn, here with your website, where notice how this top menu bar is really wide, top to bottom, and it means I can't see a big chunk of your website all at once, whereas it would be a lot more helpful to be able to see more things on the website. Next time you update your site, I'm going to recommend take out this giant menu and make it a little tiny menu or a hamburger menu or a hidden menu that falls down, instead of making it something that dominates the website. I mean, half of your website is telling me, go look at something else right now. Allison, what would you tell Lynn about this contest?
Well, Lynn, I think it's so awesome that you're doing a contest, but I think people don't know that this post is about a contest. It needs the post needs to call out what the rapid desire of the writers it is. They need to self-identify. Oh, I need this, and you're getting in the way by asking a yes or no question first. Like, does your manuscript start quick? Who cares? What you care about and what they care about is, are you getting the attention and inquiry from agents? If not, you can enter this contest. Make sure it's clear that it's a contest. And P.S., make sure people know that you do this successfully, because the language, I would like to give you objective, I can't remember what it was, guidance. Like, great, I would like to do your hair, but I'm not an expert. So you just have to make sure that your profile and what you're offering align. Oh, and make sure your social profile is updated, so that we know that you are, providing
So
expert advice.
right here, we're looking at Lynn's Facebook page. And Lynn, you look like a smiley, happy person. You have real pretty book covers. I have no idea who this dude is and why he is the headline. Oh, and I just realized, I think you're at either the Big Apple Circus or Circus Smirkus or some kind of other tent show, which is kind of cool, but not necessarily going to draw in your writing audience. And I'm probably the only ex-circus performer in this room right now. If not, let's talk. So what I'm seeing on your profile here is advertisement for my contest, advertisement for my contest, something that's no longer available. Advertisement for my book, which is like, I say this with great love in my heart. This is really kind of ugly. And it's because this was 4 years ago. You're better at social media now than you were 4 years ago. And then I've got another contest advertisement. And then I've got another contest advertisement. And then I've got something that looks like somebody tagged you in a thing that's a sale that you have not policed your profile and kept it off your profile. And so now you're advertising for somebody else's weird diet thing. And this is something that all of us should do every now and then. Use the option to look at your profile as if you are a stranger, because it will show you there's some stuff that people tagged you in that you do not want to be tagged in. Here is where I start to get to something that's really useful. Now, back on your contest, you have this great list, Lynn, of tips for success. Start your novel or memoir in a place where high stakes exist. Let readers care. Give us a flawed hero we'll empathize with. This could be a fantastic blog post that would live on your site. We talk a lot about SEO, search engine optimization, and we're all a little unclear on exactly what that is, but 10 things that make a novel better would be really searchable. And if you expanded on some of these points, that would be something that would both draw people to your site when they're searching for stuff that's not you, and help establish you are an expert who will have good advice to give them. Allison, you want to weigh in on that?
Agreed. Yeah. Clean up your poo, just as we go through the social universe, we get snagged by people we don't know. And we, by accident, agree to be friends with bots. And so put something on your calendar, 15 minutes once a month, that you go in and you clean that stuff out. And make sure you don't accept requests from anyone who doesn't have an image or who just joined like this week. Like, yeah, real people aren't new to the world.
Really show your expertise more. Maybe tell us about some of the results you've gotten, if you've gotten any good results from people who have, gotten feedback from you and then they went on to publish or even to independently publish. Let us know what your results are. And Allison suggests a revised version of this. How can your manuscript deliver a scintillating start and hook an agent's attention fast? Submit your first 3 pages, get expert guidance you can apply today. Details plus prizes fee and past participants' big wins, link in comments. You have a problem. I have a solution. Click this link to find out how to get that solution. If you're marketing anything, whether it's a workshop or your book, look at how does your book solve the reader's problem? Whether that problem is my marriage is failing or I really need to be entertained for the next 90 minutes. Those are both problems people have. Allison, before we pop on to the next thing, you got anything else you want to add here?
I really loved this as an option for folks. I mean, they really, you're not showing the thing anymore. I do think that you're hiding the fact that you've done quite a lot of contests, and I would try and get the details down, because 1,250 words versus 3 pages, it takes up less space. And I'm sure what you meant was 5 pages or 10 pages, whatever. I can't do math in my head, so I was writing really fast. But separate out what do people really need, and then use fewer words.
I agree.
That 1 page is a lot. It's a lot of words.
I want to move on to Dina's Instagram post under the name You Glow Girl. And Dina, when I look at your stuff, and we're going to take a quick look at both your Instagram post here, your overall profile, and a little tiny look at your website as well, because I kind of like followed those links through like I was going down the rabbit hole. You look like you have so much energy and love and spirit to give the world. And so I want to challenge you on this because I want you to succeed. I want you to see your light in the world. And I say this with love in my heart. I'm going to read your caption here. Having doubts, trying to stay positive, but actually struggling. The voice in your head says you're being ridiculous to ever think it is going to happen. Well, I call bullshit. Poop emojis. That voice is fear. It's afraid of change and disappointment, afraid to trust and that what is meant for you will happen. Emoji. So who are your two choices? Sit in that dirty diaper, poop emoji, of doubt and discouragement, or make real shit happen. The good kind, lol. Don't downsize your dreams. They matter. There is more. This sounds like generic coaching babble. It sounds as though someone has said, I am going to create a Saturday Night Live sketch about the girl power, girl boss, woman on Instagram coaching trend, the kind of coach who coaches other people to be coaches in some kind of vast pyramid scheme. What's your success in some kind of other area? So I'm a writing coach. I point to my clients have published with Penguin Random House. Allison is a coach. She points to her clients have been New York Times bestsellers. Even mindset coaches will often offer another hook of some kind. So you've got this thing called self-belief school that I just kind of casually found, where the point is you're holding back, but you don't know how to change things. It's all about self-belief. She's got a really specific thing that she is teaching, that she is preaching. The point is, we're going to get specifically over self-doubt. Over here, we've got Sarah Tasker, me and Orla. She's an Instagram expert. And so part of what she can point to is you also want to be an Instagram person who's big on social media. I have vast success in that area. There are the two kinds of coaching that I offer. Or Tara Moore, author of Playing Big. She wrote a book. It's out there in the world. People like it. You have a sense of what she actually wants you to do. Allison, what would you suggest to Dina here? This is a fabulous reel from Marisa. Can you hear the sound? No, you can't hear the sound, but it's a fun song about getting a great idea. Never again let being naked and wet hold back your genius. Marisa's in the shower, and her note says, who should play me when my book becomes a movie? And she has kind of a funny list there where it's Scarlett Johansson, Emilia Clarke, and then the one at the very end is Steve Buscemi. So there's like a little punchline to this as well. I really like this reel. Marisa says, I spent so much time on the reel recording, but only 5 people entered this giveaway, which was pretty nice, I thought. The winner won a pad of Aqua Notes and a mug from the Rumpus store. The mug was a surprise because I focused on the Aqua Notes here, and the mug had the Cheryl Strayed quote, "Write like a motherfucker." This reel is brilliant. It's fun, it's funny, it's clever. It has an actual payoff. Like Steve Buscemi should play me is a genuinely funny moment. 13 people commented, which means they were into it. But only 5 people actually entered your contest. So there's a couple of things here. Video gets fewer engagements. It reaches more people, but more passively. The other thing I'm going to say is you've got here to enter this giveaway. Follow me, like or save this post and another post. Answer below. Who would you want to play you if your life or memoir became a movie? Bonus entry, share in your stories and tag me or share a screenshot. I say this with great love in my heart, Marisa. You know I love you. You're not famous enough to ask for your readers to jump through that many hoops. Pick one. The more steps, the fewer people will go through them. And this is true for everybody when you launch your book. Do not ask everybody to call the library and go to the little free library and go into the independent bookstore and order your book and write a review. Ask them for one thing. because people can deliver one thing. Don't give them more than 3 things to choose from. Don't ask them to do more than one thing. Allison Lane, over to you.
I love this video. And Marisa, I think that you're sitting on something here that's freaking brilliant. And that's the unexpected video. I don't know how long this video is, but if I were you, I would make this a series of the ideas you come up with in the, in the shower, because it's adorable. And this, it goes to a lesson that everyone should know, is when you hit on something that people are engaging with, don't stop doing that. Don't move away onto the next thing, because people are already reacting positively. So this could also become a series of snapshots with a lesson. Maybe the lesson is what kind of pencil actually writes in the shower. You can ask people, what pencil do you use in the shower? What else do you do in the shower? Some people brush their teeth in the shower. Who knows? What can you get done in the shower? Maybe you'll engage people that way, and get some inspiration from others who are doing great short form video. My client, Nika Stewart, does great short form video and has accrued 200 million views in 2 years on TikTok and YouTube. So watch hers. She was documenting her adventure through breast cancer and her double mastectomy and losing all her hair, even down there. But by doing that, by showing her vulnerability and smiling through it, she was able to engage with those people. I think you could do the same thing. I love this.
I love it too. I love it too. Just scale back the number of people and keep making this kind of comment. Allison, can you put the link to Nika's TikTok into the chat? Or if not, I can put it in the follow-up email. Cheryl Hall is doing a really interesting series where it's called View from My Writing Desk, and she features writers sharing their places in natures that inspire them, but it's not doing as well as she hoped. So you have a couple of challenges here. This one is a little bit boring. It needs to have writing tools in it, or it needs to have a person in it. When we go to your profile, notice how there's one here that's got 39. Let's hope it loads at some point, but it's a picture that's got writing tools in it. It's got a laptop in it and a notebook in it, as well as a beautiful background. Make sure that anyone who's in it puts it in their stories that day. You put it in your stories and you cross-post it to Facebook and Twitter. Sorry, guys, this is not loading for me. And start reposting from famous writers. Post a quote from their work, something they say, repost their shots of their writing spaces. Allison Lane, tag over to you.
I think this is a really smart series, but boy, is it creating a lot of content, and you would be smart to lean into this and create more content, which enables you to do fewer, bigger activities. Now, every effort actually can beget 5 uses. Beget, it's a biblical term, but it's true. Everything that you do should have 5 uses, but I think I came up with 8, Allison, and I emailed them to you. I don't even know if you got them.
You said, update your profile bio with a description or benefit of this series. Each post needs to explain it in a few words. Add a highlights section to the top of your Instagram of this series. Create reels or stories about this concept. Create Canva tiles with quotes and insights and images from the author. Create emails for this, put it in your newsletters, make videos, make reels, make stories, and include your own learnings or insights from these interviews. We are going to snap on over to our very last one. This is a pitch from Amy. Amy felt like her 2022 was a failure. She says, everyone I know is getting published and winning prizes and finding their soulmates. I'm glad for them, truly. I just need to figure out how to remove the giant letter L off my forehead. And she's got a pitch that starts with, I'm submitting appetites in response to your call for submissions in the binders. Using the lens of food and cooking, my essay details the deliciousness and the ultimate bitter aftertaste of a grown-up summer relationship. It's conversational, slightly self-deprecating, and contains a recipe I developed especially in tribute to well-seasoned women. If this non-traditional format isn't to your liking, I'm glad to revise and incorporate the recipe elements into the narrative. So I want to say here, number one, it's not you. It's not your writing. The pitch is super charming, but I have no idea what you're talking about. What I'm getting from the first paragraph here is, it's a cooking essay, but that's actually something about relationships, and there's a big metaphor. And now here's the tone of the essay. And oh, actually, it has a recipe, but don't worry, if you don't like it, I'll just change it and do something else. Allison, what are you getting from this?
I feel like I'm not sure what is happening. Like, I'm not sure what's happening with that. Let me open it again. It's unclear of, is it a submission? Is it yeah, I think that there's, I think sometimes people think that when a submission says, attach your submission here, that the intro letter doesn't actually have to read like a pitch, but it does. It does need to read like a pitch, so that, because otherwise they're not going to go and read the submission itself.
This is not for literary magazines, though. Literary magazines, it's a little bit different. This advice is for commercial media, and mass media literary outlets. Yeah, but sometimes they still want like a little using the food. I'm just not sure what it is. Also, you're a longtime contributor of NPR. I would say frequent computer, and I would include a more powerful bio, not just I've written about food justice and access, but like deliver the hot links. You know, I think you're not putting enough of this, the readability and the marketability of this piece on this pitch, which it is still pitchy. The other thing I thought of when I read it is, this might not be a pitchable essay. If it is this complex, it might be something that you need to sell on spec rather than selling it on pitch. This might be something where you introduce yourself, the main topic of the essay, and the word count, and why the essay is a good fit for this venue. And then you actually get them to read the essay rather than describing more of the essay. Right now, we're getting a lot of description that does not actually make it clear what you're actually writing about in this essay. So you can be less literary in this second paragraph and a little more, this is what I wrote about. Here is why your readers will like it. 3 main ingredients of a commercial or mass media pitch. Why me? Why now? Why this venue? And I think you can break it down and be less clever, because you are clearly really smart and really charming. Allison Lane, anything you want to add on here before we move into our closing moment? I'm just seeing a lot of sign-offs that say, like, sincerely, you know, Allison, or please always put your email, your phone number, and your website as part of your auto signature, even in a pitch. You know, if someone wants to get in touch with you right away, if they're like, God, I need something for this afternoon, you know, 8675309, dial me, and we need to see it there. Always. I have dropped a link into the chat, which is AllisonLaneLiterary.com/freebies. We will also put this link in the follow-up email. You can get an assortment of simple, practical tips by visiting there. Allison will send you Clobber Your Crutches, which is 41 boring words to strike from your work. Where to Pitch, a list of fabulous media hungry for your pitches. That alone is worth signing up. And podcasts to propel your creativity, your writing, and your revenue. Anybody who registers will also receive her 14 intros for your captivating query sheet, which is really good. I just read it. Or they can DM you on all platforms if they are already getting your marketing missives. I want to let you know, join us December 13th for our last episode of the year, our Ask Us Anything holiday party. Aileen Weintraub from the Witches of Pitches and Writer's Digest will be our guest. We're going to tackle all your author platform questions. Here's what you can really do today. What do you want people to do, believe, or know? What action should they take? Allison, what's your top tip from today? What should we take out with us into the world?
Every time you have something to say, skip the throat clearing and get to the what's in it for them.
100%.
And shock my pants off. Get my attention.
I'm actually not wearing pants right now. I
Neither
just
am I,
assumed
girl.
everyone was
Neither
going to
am
stun
I.
me that much. No matter what else you do, be personal. Everything you write should be clearly from you. You don't have to violate your own privacy, but you do have to put your heart out there. And that's how you're going to find the people who need your words.
That was great.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Love your background, Kirsten.
Oh, thank
Love
you.
you,
I'm in
Chris.
this. I'm in this room. It's very
Love you, Casey.
uncomfortable.
Congratulations on your essay.
Thank you.
When did you start breakout rooms?
Thank you.
I didn't do breakout room because I wanted to get to as many people as possible, but we will
Okay,
do
so yeah,
breakout
let's
room
start
again
then.
next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, don't
Okay.
worry, Michelle. We'll totally bring back breakout rooms.
Cool. 'Cause I never
time for a
come, and so I was looking
question?
forward to it.
Yeah. Sharon, was it you who had the detailed question about memoir proposals?
I did. I'm so sorry, but this is.
Yeah, no, it's a
we're
good
on such a
question.
roll
And
here.
Allison Lane, you are so welcome to hang, and I love having you, but
Yeah.
it's not rude if you need to bail. So Sharon asks, back to memoir book proposals, should we have the proposal completed during or after our completed first draft or final draft manuscript? Also, is that something either of you offer as a one-on-one service for memoirists? Allison Lane, what do you think? When do they need to do the proposal?
When you're ready to query. It's not when you have your first draft, for sure, because Allison K Williams wrote a book called 7 Drafts. So we don't want to. So once you get to the 7 and Allison says it's ready to go, then yeah, you need to know how it needs to be pitched. And it's not the agent's job to figure that out for you or with you. They are just like, your realtor isn't going to come paint your house for you. They're going to say, come, let me know when it's painted. So, yeah, and yes, that's what I do offer, that one-on-one, and my Rock Your Book Proposal on-demand program starts soon. So you can get everything I do, all the templates and swipes and videos and training, and way more than just the proposal, because the proposal is just part of it. It's how do you connect with the agent? How do you not waste your time and theirs? And maybe Allison does this too, but yeah, you got to have it. It does have to be complete.
I recommend that writing your proposal is a really great thing to do in between drafts. Like when you've cranked out a fair amount of your draft, that time that you need to rest and come back to the draft with fresh eyes is a great place to start working on your proposal. And it won't necessarily be your finished, polished proposal, but looking at who are your comps? What are they talking about? Who's reading them? Where are they talking about them? Where are they getting reviewed? It's a great time for you to start learning who is going to read this book and what do they need from it, because that will help you as you go into the next draft. I would say even if you are going to self-publish or hybrid publish, you should write a proposal, because it will also be your own guide as you market your book. You'll have that list of, oh, who should I be approaching for blurbs? Oh yeah, that's right. 6 months ago, I made a big long list, and then I friended all those people on Twitter, and then I reviewed all their books on Amazon. So now some of them at least feel like they owe me something, and I feel less shy because I have done something for them, and I feel a little bit better about asking them for something for me. Allison's program is fantastic. Highly recommend. I'm also offering a thing called Proposal Bootcamp that'll be April 1st and 2nd next year, where you'll get worksheets in advance, and then you will write the vast majority of your proposal in about a weekend. There's a link to get on the wait list in my newsletter that went out this morning. So, Allison, anything else you want to add about proposals by Kirsten?
I really think
Oh, I wanted
that-
to ask a follow-up question when you're
Oh,
done.
please do.
about proposals. Many of my clients come to me saying, I wrote a memoir, my book is about this. And I say, gosh, that terminology feels like we need to do some, I always start with competitive research, 2 hours of who's talking about what language are they using, where are they connecting, where are their audiences congregating and shouting, please talk to us. And it always turns out every last time that there are 35 ways to use the language that they're using and turn it into something that is cutting edge. And by doing the competitive research, you find that the language that was used 2 years ago is not the language of today. I'll give you an example. Exercise, fitness, wellness, health, meditation, mindfulness. I mean, these are all things, nutrition, diet. What the hell is your book about? Oh, it's about taking care of yourself. Is it? Is it about self-care, or is it about having agency? Is it about love or desire? I mean, people write books about love and loss all the time. I'm going to put a fork in my eye for how many times I hear it's about love. And my subtitle is about love and loss. No, please.
No
Is it
one is ever allowed to
desire?
use that as a subtitle again, ever, ever,
Yes.
ever. Yeah.
No.
And I want to
Yeah.
say too, there are two people in this room whose books I have read who are writing about love and loss. But Casey's book is How Did I Grow Up and Create My Own Family Despite Hardship, despite death, despite not connecting with the people I wanted to be connected with? How did I come into my own while also dealing with the grief of the loss of my son, which is part of her dramatic arc rather than a eulogy to her son. Deborah is writing an amazing book that's all about how making art is one of the things that sustained her through the death of her brother and her brother's husband, who she was very close to. It's not about, gosh, it was real sad and people died of AIDS. It's about, this is the vivid trauma I was experiencing while I made vivid and beautiful art and came into my own as an artist. It's about your journey, not about a eulogy for the person who has passed. That might have been a side note there. So, Kirsten, you had a follow-up question.
I did. At what point during your memoir drafting process is it appropriate to hire a book coach to help you figure out what you're trying to say?
Listen,
First of all, you can do a lot of that, like, what am I trying to say, in this group or in my group, and both of them are free, Creative Nonfiction Community, and we hold compassionate critiques, and you can come and workshop whatever it is, like, what am I getting on? And when do you hire someone? First of all, I don't love the sending off your work and then having somebody send it back to you by pigeon and then letting you know what. I think that's an iterative, collaborative process. So if you're trying to figure out what am I writing about, talk to Allison, because she can rebirth your book and peel back the layers and really like find the core, the heart of your message or your story, and help you leave the sort of literary debris on the side so that people really get to the juice of what you have. Sometimes one conversation, sometimes that's a ongoing coaching. I think it's individual. I'm sorry, I don't have a, do it this way or that way.
I agree, though. I think it's totally individual. I've worked with people at the idea stage where they were like, this is what I think I want to write. I have idea A and idea B. This is what I want to achieve in my life. Which one of these do you think is going to help me? And then we start hammering out, okay, this is the one that's going to work, but you want to approach it from this angle. Have you considered these communities? All that kind of stuff. I've also worked with people who were at the stage of, my agent has asked me to revise and resubmit, and I'm not entirely sure what to do with this giant stuff. And we mapped out that book on a wall and Post-it notes and put it all back together again, and it's sold. So it really is, where is it going to benefit you? And where is it? I mean, it's expensive to work with a book coach. So it can be really good to get a good critique partner, a good fellow author, a good free group like what Allison Lane runs, or even like a course that is less expensive than one-on-one kind of work. You know, you want to make sure that you're at a place where you can apply it and where you can get your money's worth. You know, it's not worth it to spend the money if you're not going to be able to implement what they talked about.
Totally. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Kirsten is working on a fabulous book that is all about a medium and the history of mediuming and how this all ties directly into her birth and her mother's birth.
Holy crap, that's so cool.
I love the way you said that in one sentence.
Oh
Why can't I say that in one sentence? Yes, but I won't give away the themes and the lead.
Narrative nonfiction?
Yeah.
Oh, it's super saleable.
Ah.
Ooh, juicy, juicy.
I'm actually doing another research trip in January. I swear to God, it's going to be my last one. I just want to go to California, but because there's water there, it's really nice. Yeah.
Oh, what Allison just said is super saleable. I don't know what your book is about, but usually when I'm working with people one-on-one for their proposal, the proposal comes first, then the structure of the book, and then the chapter summaries. And that comes together based on the competitive research. So people always come to me and they say, I have a draft proposal. And I say, right. Because they create a proposal in a vacuum and they haven't looked at the bleeding edge of a new structure or how, even what paragraphs feel like, or is there too much dialogue?
It can so help to have that map. I'm going to say thank you for coming to the Writer's Bridge, and please unmute yourselves for a joyful goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Guys, thanks so
Allison
much.
Lane.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks very
Bye.
much.